Hi guys, it's Mika here again. Just coming at you, just trying to give you a little bit of motivation, inspiration, so that you can hopefully take what I say and realize that all of the everything, the positivity is within yourself. Recently, well, yesterday, my daughter and I was just talking the day before. She had been in a car accident. She's 21. This was, she drives. She's a great driver. But it was raining and, she had gotten on the highway. She was going, to handle some business, and she hydroplaned. She in her mind, she had everything right. She checked the people in front of her stepped on their brakes. She checked her next lane. She was going to change. And somewhere along the line, something happened. She seen light flash before her eyes. She seen that wall. And that was it, and she passed out. She came back to. No one had stopped. She doesn't know how long she was there. And it's crazy that it happened. Now, my thought process is she couldn't have been there for too long, because from the time she left the house to the time she actually called me, it was maybe about 15 minutes. But the distance from my house to where she actually had that accident, I would say maybe 7, 8 minutes. So it's possible that she was literally there for a good 10 minutes and nobody stopped, nobody came, but she woke up in the emergency lane. So she hit the wall, hit an emergency lane. She hit on the driver's side. And so the car spun around and she was facing backwards. The whole point of this story is she left this house perfectly fine, perfectly physically intact, got in our car and was going. And then what happened is less than 20 minutes later, she could have not been here anymore. And so that motivated me to just get on this kick of, listen, we can focus every day on what's wrong, what's negative, what's bad, what goes south, what doesn't happen. And we can still find ourselves at the end of our lives upset at everybody and everything else. And so I'm here to kind of send out a little maybe shock therapy saying, don't. The enemy, the negativity, all the things that we have that are stopping us from doing whatever we want to do is within you. Wake up with determined purpose, definitely that this is what you want and this is your plan to get it, and do that every day. And sometimes, yes, I understand life is going to happen, but guess what? Life happens anyway. Life is going to happen to all of us. It doesn't matter if you every day do nothing, and I mean literally nothing. I found myself where a week has gone by and I hadn't worked out. I ate a bunch of what I would call crap, a bunch of either processed food or fast food, or even if I cook it and it was like bad for me, and I'll go a week and I'll look up and I've done the bare minimum. And what I mean by that is I may work the way that I work at home, so my work is never the same. Every day I find myself doing things different, and I love that. I love how my life is now. But there was a time when I worked 2 full-time jobs and a part-time job, and I literally worked Monday through Friday, 2 jobs, 2 full-time jobs, first and second shift, and then I worked the weekend shifts. Never saw my kids, and the whole thing was, it was a grind time. And you look up and yeah, you may have made the money and then the money goes. The money is sent to, at that time I was down south, so it was Duke Power. Up here it's PSE&G, Con Edison. I don't know what it is on the West Coast, but it doesn't matter. You go and it goes to your rent, maybe hopefully your mortgage, your car payments, your car insurance. The money is going to go. So life is going to come. And it's this whole revolving circle that we find ourselves in every day. It doesn't matter. As long as you're here and you have those minutes, those times, those seconds, they're going to go. They're not going to stop. It's not going to stop from me. It's not going to stop from you. And we're just going to continue to go through it until we're not here anymore. And at the end, we're going to look at ourselves and we're going to say, what did I accomplish? Some of us will be able to say that we've accomplished and attained a lot of things. I know I had this time when recently when I just came able to acquire a lot of things that I did. I went from having 2 pair of jeans and a pair of sweatpants and maybe 3 shirts, having nothing, what would be the equivalent of nothing. And I did that honestly because I work at home and I got lazy. I didn't buy anything. I didn't really do my hair. My husband would come home and look at me like, didn't I leave you looking like that? And I would cook. It wasn't great food. It was quick. When I would go grocery shopping, I bought a lot of chicken nuggets and really already made stuff. And I spent a lot of time just, I want to say working, and it wasn't even that. I say I was working. I was busy doing nothing. And I found myself sad after a while. I hadn't accomplished anything but made enough money to pay these bills, and I hadn't accomplished anything. My kids were, I don't want to say regular, but because they're not. My kids have always been amazing, but they lacked doing the things for themselves that they should. I cooked, I cleaned, I did laundry. I busied myself. I kept myself being busy, and I thought that was right, and it's not right. So as I've progressed, I found that now I make them do a lot more chores, which frees up a lot of time. So then when I got free time, at first I started doing other stuff. I found myself on Facebook, social media for hours on end. I would say, I could read a lot of stories, and I could look through a lot of videos, and I laughed and I giggled, and I would look up and it's like, oh crap, it's 2 o'clock. It's time to cook, for the kids when they come home. And I was always busy. And then when, 6 months later, I look up and I hadn't accomplished anything. So to me, that's still my enemy. That's still my negative. That's still everything against me, because what should happen in your life is you should progressively grow. You should be able to look at where you was at the beginning of 2015 or 14 or 13 or now being 16, and you should be able to say, from this day, whenever you started your path, to this day, maybe 5 months, 6 months, 8 months later, this is what happened. This is what I've grown. And if you were trying to grow financially, which most of us are, because the world we live in, everything is about money. If you were looking to grow financially, you should have. It doesn't matter. You should have grown in some way, because you're doing the things and taking the steps that help you grow financially. And what that means is, while yes, you may have to work. And that was my thing. I was like, well, I work. And since I work, that's it. I work, I make sure that my bills are paid. And that was an amazing goal, because there was a time when I didn't have a job, and I didn't work, and things were harder. And so I had gotten myself and was able to get myself to a place of basic minimal comfort. That's what I call it. Is I was my bills were paid. My family, nobody was really struggling in my immediate family, but I wasn't able to help anybody else either. If, my grandmother called me and she needed some money, or my brother, or, one of my brothers, or there was nothing else I could do. I had kept myself at the base core. And that's not what I want. That's not what I ever wanted. I've always talked about, and I do a lot of talking. I talk to my husband, and I'm like, look, I want to help people. And he was like, yeah, help people, and I talk to my kids, and I go, I want to help people. And they're like, yeah, you should help people. And I couldn't figure out how, because I couldn't help myself. So I was introduced to this video called The Secret, and that may have been maybe 12 years ago. Whenever it came out, I think it was like the year, maybe like 6 months after it came out. I don't remember exactly, but I was introduced to it. Then it changed me. It helped me. At the time, I was working for another tax company, and it motivated me to the next year take the steps and do the things that I needed to do to start my own. And I did that. I was amazing at it. I am still amazing at it. I own this wonderful tax company. I am great at taxes. Not to toot my own horn, but and that's because I work. I work diligently. During tax season, I work. After tax season, I work. Before tax season, I work. I'm always trying to increase my knowledge about the life of taxes, and how things change, and how I can help people, and how I can get them the most back. But then I realized that even with all of that, even with getting you the maximum refund, my customers or my clients will still say, can you give me a little more? And so that became this teeter-totter thing of me trying to get them more without doing anything unethical, without doing anything negative. And so a lot of times, because I had did the most I could do, I was like, no, I'm unable to. And I did. I lost a few people, because there are people who will do bad things or negative things to get them back their money. And so I was like, okay. And time went on, and I wound up, I'm to a place where I like taxes. I like it. It's good. It's a good financial assistant, and it keeps me with a lot of free time. And I like that. I like the free time. But I wasn't doing much with my free time. So I would work tax season, probably for me, it would be like from November, December, when I would start learning and processing and engaging with my clients. And then, January, February, March, I would work really, really hard, and I would work some days 18 to 20 hours, come home. I would either have to, my husband would have, someone would have cooked, but he works too. So either we would eat out. We'd have this whole long time of mommy works and she does, and, we are going to eat fast food. And then after that, for the rest of the year, I did independent contract work. And, I worked. I still just worked and I worked. And then, we lived good. We've been on vacations. We went a lot of places. We did a lot of things. But at the end, I was still unfulfilled. And so I was like, well, what is it that I want? And I never did that. I never said, what is it that I want? I just kind of fell into a couple of depressive states, fell into a couple of sad states. And now I've focused maybe this last year solely on becoming what I want. And what I want is to help people. That's it. Like, I couldn't come up with another answer. My question and my goal became how? How do I help people when I can barely help myself? And I kept trying to wait for the perfect time. And I know you know that. The money is not right. The environment is not right. Life is not right. And I went through months. And this year, 2016, was horrible for me and my family. I think it was maybe one of the worst years emotionally. This year, I had this ridiculous emotional roller coaster. Ups, downs, so many great highs, but I was in so many lows. I had so many lows. And, I kept saying, this is not right. I can't do it this year. I can't do it right now. And then about a month ago, something clicked and I started, I seen The Secret again. That's what happened. It came back on my Netflix timeline as suggested to watch. Why? I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. And I watched it again and I got on fire again. And I took my time and I sat down and I first started, I made me and my children are all oldest, my youngest is 11. And we sat and I made them do what I call this family meeting. And I talked to them on an individual level, and I kept putting off what I wanted onto them. I was like, you can play instruments, and you can sing, and you can dance, and you're good at video editing, and you're good at this, and I pushed off everything, and I told them what they were good at, and I worked on them. And I've been working on them, and I'm not going to stop working on them because my kids are amazing. They are going to be the epitome, no, they are the epitome of greatness right now. And if they can just tap into a minimal amount of their greatness, they will skyrocket and be phenomenal. And I talk phenomenalness into them on a daily basis. But me, what is it that I want? And I kept pushing that off onto them, pushing it off. And then something inside of me was like, well, Mika, what do you want? What are you going to do? What is your goals? And so I dug in. In a way that I probably have never dug in before, and I'm still digging. And I told myself, so I started doing other stuff. Anyway, again, I strayed off. So I said to myself, today, I don't care what's wrong. Well, it was actually tomorrow, but, I don't care what's wrong. I don't care what happens. I don't care what happens. You're going to get up, and you're going to do this on this date. And right before that date came, 2 days before, we had an explosion. I had an explosion. I screamed and I yelled and I had this big thing with my kids, and it kind of shook me. And I was like, no, and that day I broke down, because I have this amazing relationship with them. And so something that would actually shake me at my core wasn't good. And so I sat down and I was like, really? And I'm talking to myself, like, really? This is what happens? And then the next day came and then I went pertaining to fix it and I tried to fix it. And I think it generally got fixed enough to where I was able to be like, okay, focus. And so I went back to my book. I made this book and I write and I write and I write and I write. And I tell myself what I got to do, what I need to do. And I still wasn't doing it. So the next morning I woke up and I go, today this is what you're going to do. And so I did it. And I did it and I was uncomfortable. And I tell my kids and I'm telling everybody, you should be uncomfortable. And I am so uncomfortable. I am still uncomfortable. And I think when I'm uncomfortable, I speak really fast because I know that once I get it out, I can stop. And so I keep trying to tell myself to relax and to be calm and to, cool it. But right now, this was about you in excess about me, how I've been really, really how I've been really, really faithful. Faithful in myself, sometimes without even knowing it, just telling myself that you don't want to be at this bottom anymore. You don't want to be here where you are. So I worked. And at the time, what I worked on was taxes because I was good at it, and I worked on it, and it took me to this really high place. And it has done, and it will continue to do great things. But then I was scared to grow it, and I hadn't grown it, and it's a really small show, and it really should be bigger because we're a great group of people. And so that's the goal. I need to grow that. But other than that, I need to realize that being at my rock bottom, or those, it is crazy because it's not one rock bottom. I've had multiple rock bottoms, and you hit it, and you hit it hard, and you say, why me? Why God? Why universe? Why worlds? Why do you do this to me? Why does these things happen? And then you begin to dig in. And then I think we dig in, and most of the time we dig in just enough to get you back to average, or at least I did. I dug in just enough to get me back to average, and now I'm trying to dig in more. I'm at average. I can stay at average. I can do average. And I got my son. He's this really, really annoying child who I love with everything, and he comes to me every day and says, "You're average." And of course, my response has to be, no, I'm not. I'm not average. He goes, yes, you are. What did you do that was above average? And we do this, and we've been doing it, and it's only been maybe about a week. But he does that to me because I was doing it to them, and then it's of course it's back, and then I could take it as this negative thing, but I don't. I take it as him building me up in a way that he knows. So my testimonial to you is get out and don't be average. Get up, get out, and be you. Whoever you are, sit down, find your definite purpose. What is it that you want? Meaning, even if you want to be the owner of beautiful puppies because puppies make you happy, do that. Write your plan about how you will take and maybe grow puppies. Whatever it is. Puppies, I don't know. I've seen somebody who wanted to be a realtor. I've met people who want to be actors and actresses and singers and rappers and basketball players. And I found people who simply just want to be moms. And that was my thing. I wanted for a long time. It was easy. I could be a mother. I didn't have a choice. So I worked on becoming the greatest mother I could be. And I think for me, it's been these little steps that have brought me to where I am. And so I'm here, and I'm not great. And I'm not great in terms of I'm not where I want to be. I'm not at the top of my mountain yet. And I realized recently that there is no top of my mountain. I can't let my mountain, this mountain, whatever the mountain is, ever have a point, a top. I have to keep, growing. I have to keep growing. I have to keep getting better. I have to take my mountain and keep going. And there's this song, and all I can think about is this is by Hannah Montana, but I'm not sure if that's what her name is. But it's The Climb. It's all about the climb. And I found multiple times I plateaued because I got comfortable where I is. So now I tell everybody, stay uncomfortable. Always be uncomfortable. Don't ever settle. Don't settle for less. Settling is for mediocre people, for the average. They get somewhere, they get into the job, and they're comfortable. And they stay there. And that may not be what they want, but it's not a bad job, and it's not a bad company. But what is it that you need to do to make you great? So right now I challenge you. I challenge you while I'm challenging myself to get a book. The book I got is the book I got. I went to the dollar store. I think I paid $1 for it. I know they sell them in Staples, they sell it in Staples. They sell it in Walmart. They sell it everywhere. You go, you buy you a book. I get a book and a pen. And take that first page, and my first page, I started to write what it is that I want. So right now I put what I have in my life. So what I have in my life, I have school, I'm in college. I have taxes, which is my company. I have a concierge service, which I've been trying to launch for 5 years. I have a clothing lines. I have this public speaking, which I have stars around, counseling. I have real estate, which I want to invest in more. And then I have a line. And then on the other side, I have who my support system is, because you need that. And right now, my support system consists of my kids and my husband. And I gave them each a name. So my oldest, she's my motivation. My next, he's my inspiration. My next youngest, he's my determination. My baby girl, she's my dedication. My husband is my reflection. And collectively, we are innovation. And so I made that. That's something that I did just the other day. I write dates. Please keep up with your dates. Keep up with the date that you did stuff. Because when you look back, and if you continue to do it every day, small steps, little steps, it doesn't have to be something big. I try to make big steps. You know, in the morning you wake up, I make a big step. This is what I decided to do every morning because this scares me. It scares the life out of me. I'm like, everybody's going to criticize me. Sometimes I have bags. I'm not really big on makeup. I don't really care about certain aspects, but I don't like my voice. So what I do is I do this every morning first thing. And so you see my morning, you see how I wake up. It doesn't mean I didn't get any sleep. It just means that, you know, to be honest, this, you know, some of it is because I had eye surgery and I've had things happen to my face and things has happened to me, and I could choose to hide it and to put makeup on and become this other person, but I don't. I am happy with who I am, and it may not be the wonderful, perfect faces that everyone sees, but it's me. It's who I am, and I've learned and I've taught myself and to embrace it and to just be me. I don't wear makeup on a daily basis. That doesn't mean I won't ever or that I have never. It means that that's not the regular me. I want to give you me. The good, the bad. You'll probably, you know, right now I'm doing this sitting down because I'm comfortable, but as I grow on, you'll probably see me. And if you look at other things, I'm good with like just talking. I'll do that because I talk a lot and I can share. But anyway, so that's at the top, and then my first page, I got your ritual, your daily ritual, and you wake up early. Now, me waking up early right now is about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. If I'm, 6, 7 o'clock if I'm good. And that's because that's when my kids get up to go to school. They get up, my kids are self-sufficient, so I don't really have to do anything with them anymore. They get up, they get dressed, they all wear uniforms. So it's really simple for them right now. To exercise and meditate, that's my next thing. I do that. Not always. I didn't do it today. I didn't exercise or meditate yet, but I have there in my list so that I can mentally remember to do it. Plan your day and define your priorities. And what I mean by that is if you wake up and you're like, I have this bunch of stuff to do, and you are, most people have things like yesterday I had to do laundry. You have to cook I have to cook every day, multiple times a day, if not just for myself, for the people in my family. So I have to cook, but I make this list, and some of them, my list is the same. But then I have other things like this has become something that is newly added to my list, making a video, making a statement, talking, getting it out so that I could get used to it. And the rest of them I'm just going to do really quickly because I'm getting long-winded. Do the hardest thing first. This for me is the hardest thing. Minimize my distractions. I am up here. We have this extra room that my kids have had. It was set up for them because they play instruments and they sing. I'm stealing it while they're at school. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to do it and just make it work. It's something that we've invested in for them, and they kind of lamed out on it so far. So hopefully they'll come back around and use it. So this is my biggest thing. Plan backwards. So when I originally started this, and I again, this is one of the things I'm challenging you to write your plan, put out everything you want for the next 10 years. Where do you want to be in 10 years from now? Where do you want to wake up 10 years from today, whatever today is for you? Wake up 10 years from today and say, this is the goal that I've accomplished. And everybody's going to be different, and that's what I had to learn. That everybody doesn't want the same things, and that's amazing. That you and somebody else. I talked to my daughter. She wants to help people, but she wants to help children. She wants to be a social worker. She doesn't want to be in front of a camera. My other son, he doesn't, but my other two, they do. They want to be actresses and actors. So whatever it is you want to do, but make your goals long term. People with wealth plan for generations. And, for me, up until recently, I've only planned for maybe a year ahead. And I thought that was great. I thought, I'm like, next year this time, or, even next month this time, when I plan for that. And people who have wealth, they plan to, of course, they're not going to take it with you. We know that. And that's always, you can't take it with you. But, dude, you can leave it for your kids and your kids' kids. And if you plan it right, there will be that motivation for the future. And you got to think past yourself, beyond yourself. The people who you help. And I got this, well, we'll get to that. Let's finish this. So write it all down and speak it out of your mouth. And that's something I had a conversation with somebody else with. Speak it. Say it out of your mouth. Say what it is you want every day. You know, I'm going to do another video about your I ams. Say your I ams. I promise they help. They help, they help, they help. Your mind, what you say, what you think about, what you do on a daily basis is going to help you. Get an accountability partner. Now, me, I've made my family my accountability partners because I'm hard to deal with. I am a hard person to work with. I don't like people. In fact, if I don't like people telling me what to do. And so none of us do. I don't think anyone wants somebody every day to tell you what to do. While you have a boss, you really don't like it when he comes in there and says, you know, does the pointing the finger, not maybe not literally finger pointing, but telling you what to do. So what I have for accountability is my kids, because I'm always telling them. I have these sayings that I've adopted over the years, and one of them is do what you have to do so you can do what you want to do. And I love that saying, because what it means is if you get up, and what you have to do is going to be different, and so it can apply to you. Do what you have to do, whatever it is. Of course you got to go to work. Of course you got to, you know, provide for your family. Of course those things are first, and if you do those things first, that's fine. But after that, what do you do after that for you? You know, you have to do what you have to do, not only for your job. If you can spend 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours for some at a job, then you should be able to spend 20, 30 minutes, an hour on yourself, just defining who you are and what you want to be. Find a mentor, which I'm still working on. I'm looking for a mentor. I'm looking for multiple mentors. People who are going to help me to be better, because I don't want to be anymore. I'm usually, and this is not a good thing, one of the smartest people in the rooms that I'm in, and that's because I'm not in a lot of rooms. And so now I'm working on being in bigger rooms and going to conferences and being in a place that allows me to enable and kind of extract information from those smarter than me, those who have done it, those who are better than me, and there's so many of them. So I'm working on that. Delegate. I suck at delegating. I'm a mother. So my thing is, the more that I can do, the better I felt. And that was what I was talking about earlier. I'm starting to delegate, making my kids wash their own clothes, which may seem like whatever to people, but because I have the washing machine in my house, it's easy for me to do it while they're not there. But I'm learning to delegate, learning to make them do the things, cleaning up. I'll go in my kitchen and I see dishes, I just wash the dishes, and now I'm learning to have to just wait for them to come home and just let them do it. Choose your company wisely. Again, that's, you know, who you're around. Your people, places, and things are going to be important all the time. Read. Read substance. Read things that are going to help you. Read things that are going to take the knowledge and take us to the next levels and read things that are going to take you higher. You know, and that's, I mean, I read the equivalent of crap a lot. You know, I read stuff that don't help me, and I look at stupid stuff on Facebook, but mostly I read stuff that is helpful, and I listen to a lot of old stuff. Napoleon Hill is like one of my favorites now, but I listen to I find that listening to things that teach me things I didn't know, or even that builds upon things that I do, is helpful. Get some fresh air. And that's, for me, that's a personal thing. Most people go outside every day. I am not that girl. I will walk around the house. I will open up the windows, but I don't go outside every day. And that's because the way that I set up my life originally, when I set it up, I was in this very, very depressive place. And so when I set it up and I got this at-home job and I started doing all of this stuff, I put myself in this little bubble that allowed me to be home 75% of the time. I think I go outside to go grocery shopping, or if I have to go do something at the kids' schools or for the kids, but for the most part, I'm home. But I'm making it my business, even if I just go outside in the backyard or stand on my porch, that I get some fresh air, and I need to kind of get out more. But get some fresh air. Visualize who you are. Not who you are today, but who you are for your future. When you write down that list of where you want to be in 10 years, visualize that person, that powerful, emotionally stable, physically fit, whatever it is you want. Visualize that person. Stand in the mirror. You know, if you don't have a suit and tie, if that's the kind of person you want to be, visualize having on a suit and tie. I never had a ball, like a dress that was like big and fancy. And it's crazy because a couple of years ago, a friend of mine wanted to go to this ball. She wanted to do it, and I had never done one. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. And I rushed and I bought the dress, and we wound up not going. So I literally have this dress somewhere. and it's gorgeous and it's beautiful, and it's actually too big now because I've lost weight since then, but I'm gonna put that dress on. I'm gonna get somebody, a friend of mine probably, to tailor it up, but I haven't even worn it yet, and I've had it for 2 years. But visualize who you want to be, figure out who that is, and work on that person. Don't worry about who you are right now. Who you are doesn't matter right now if it's not who you want to be. If the person who you are right now is not who you want to be, visualize who you are and always focus on that person that you want to be, because it's you. That's who you are. Whether your mind is saying no, it's not, that's not who you are. It is who you are. It's who you have to be up here and who you have to be in your heart in order for it to be who you are and it to manifest in your real current life. Smile. That's, again, a personal thing. I do not smile. I don't like to smile. I don't know why. I'm not easily enthused, I guess. I'm not easily enthused. There's not a lot of things that make me just be like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. And I think it's because of the things that I've been through. And so I need to enjoy the small steps. And I'm learning to enjoy the small steps. And then clear your workspace. And that's because I found myself with a lot of crap on my desk, and then I thought that made me feel busy and it made me look busy. And right now, if I could show you the desk that I'm at, there's like a sticky note and there's actually a brush, but it doesn't need to be there. It needs to go to the bathroom. There's my laptop and then there's you. And that's it. That's all that's in front of me right now. And of course the book that's on my lap. And I've cleared it, and I cleared my workspace. And for me, as my head, I used to find that at night I couldn't sleep because there was so much stuff that I needed to do. And so I learned to write it down, get it out. And when I wake up the next morning, it's there. Whether you like to write your stuff early in the morning when it's fresh or late in the night. For me, late in the night works best. I get it out so that I know I don't forget it. The next morning I wake up and I hit the ground running. And if you can do that on a daily basis, I promise you that every day you will take progressive steps to be a better you. Again, like, subscribe. This one was a little long-winded. I'm so sorry, but there'll be more focused as I get better at this because I'm trying to get better. Have a great day. I care about you all. I care about where you're going to be because I care about who I am and where I'm going to be. And I know that growing is a process that will take all of us.